shown to me when I visited. They only took us there so that they still kept it as a monument, as the first inner that still was in Ife then. You know how the story of Benin went when their bronze casting actually originated from Benin. We started this bronze casting, and if you look till date, they are obsolete. They are no longer producing bronze. You understand? Because if you see what they were producing then, you see the difference between what we were producing here. Most times you have the head of the Oni, the bust and others. We were producing beyond that. We taught them how to produce the bronze, not them. You understand? Not them teaching us. They learned from us, the Benins. I told you how we were there for a while and how they learnt most of all these things from us. They cannot mention a particular. They cannot mention a particular head of people who produce bronze out there in Ife. No, but here in Benin, you still have it.
Thanks for clicking on this channel. Please subscribe to FO's blog history and click on the notification button so that whenever we upload a new video you will be notified.
Chief, what's up, babe? My name is Siguma. We are from FO's blog. The reason we are here today is to find out about the origin of the Benin broadcasting. We are trying to use our media to promote the cultural heritage of Benin. We are also trying to use the media to reach out to the world about the things we do with the Benin. So we believe you are the head of this Igun, which is the home of broadcasting. That is why we are here today to seek out information from you regarding the Benin broadcasting. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Well, I'm Chief Kingsley Osai Ime,
Thank you, sir.
the inner of Igun and the president of the Guild of Bronze Casters. I'm the head of this community, and we are into bronze making, which is popularly known all over the world, and we call it something we are very, very proud of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, please, can you give us a brief history of the origin of the broadcasting, how it started and when it started?
Bronze casting is as old as the kingdom itself. Primarily, we as a guild were formed by the palace for the beautification of the palace. We were producing our works to beautify the palace. We under the instruction of the monarch, the Yoruba of Benin, we produce most of these artworks and give it to him as what he has requested for, and we use it in beautifying the palace. So as time went on, we saw that there was no form of documentation in the kingdom as at then, no radio, no cameras, no pen, no way of documenting. So we eventually started documentation on the history of this kingdom by way of art forms, maybe in plaques and various art forms. So we eventually, I would say, are the custodians of the history of this kingdom. We documented every activity that took place in this kingdom. We are in the palace when things are going on. We eventually put them in art forms and keep them. So we were producing all these works as far back as the origin of the kingdom. So that's why when when the kingdom was invaded, they were able to find a lot of these artworks, and it surprised the invaders that a kingdom that was thought to be an uncivilized kingdom had this kind of knowledge to produce these things, and even the administrative traditional rules in the kingdom was so unique that it baffled them. They didn't think we were going to be this civilized, or to them we were not civilized anyway. They didn't think we were going to be able to put things in this form. So that was even what aroused their interest the more, to make sure to make them cut away most of our works that were produced thousands of years ago. So that's it.
Very much, sir. And sir, please, can you please give us the key people that actually started this broadcasting?
When you say the key people, like I told you, they were under instructions from the monarch, the king. But I will let you in on this. The first bronzecaster was known as Egwerai Ine. He is the first and is still the head of the Bronzecasters Guild till date. The Ines are the head of the guild, the title by the monarch, So it's eventually passed from father to child, you know. So because it's an hereditary title. So we have a Egwerai, that's why right there you see the hall. They call it Awegwerai, that's the Gwegar's hall.
That's
They
it.
had it, eh?
That's it again.
Yes, that's it over there. That's why they call it the Gwegar's hall, as a memorial structure put there. And that's where the community holds their meetings, in honor of the Gwega. And we equally have a place in Ife, which was shown to me when I visited. They only took us there so that they still kept it as a monument, as the first inner that still was in Ife then. You know how the story of Benin went when king was out there. Eventually was a king out in Ife. They made him the king after a series of wars, and they had that trust to say, yeah, if he can win all these battles, they will want him to rule that kingdom. And you know how we pleaded for him to come back, and he had to send his son to come back.
Sir, sorry to cut you short. What's the name of this king?
The king then was Romeo. Then that's that's the lineage. He had to send his son down to Benin because he was not sure, because there was a problem when he went on exile. So he wasn't sure that we will take him back. So he had to let us prove it and ask his son to come back here to Caladura, to come back here to help us rule the kingdom. That's how it all started. So we have always been with the palace from the beginning. We have always been doing carrying out the instructions of the monarch through these various art forms. So that's how it has been.
So you just made mention of a queer guy having a branch at Philip or
I
in
didn't say they have a branch. There was a settlement
a
there then.
settlement there then.
Yes, the first email was there too. So that was why they kept where he stayed as more like a memorabilia for them to be able to know that yes, he was here at a particular point in time in Ife. You understand? So that's how it went.
Taking a very close look at the Benin bronze and the Yoruba bronze, you can see some similarities between them. So can we not take firstly that the Yoruba broadcast system of or style of broadcasting originated from the Benin or vice versa? I don't know.
That's a very interesting question to ask. Their broadcasting actually originated from Benin. We started this broadcasting, and if you look till date, they are obsolete. They are no longer producing bronze. You understand? Because if you see what they were producing then, you see the difference between what we were producing here. Most times you have the head of the owning, the bust and others. We were producing beyond that. We taught them how to produce the bronze, not them. You understand? Not them teaching us. They learned from us, the Benins. I told you how we were there for a while and how they learnt most of all these things from us. They cannot mention a particular. They cannot mention a particular head of people who produce bronze out there in Ife. No, but here in Benin, you still have it. That's the inner. You understand? So they learned from us. We didn't learn from them. Uh,
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, we leave that as well for now. Maybe we'll come back another day to
for
talk about the
proper
relevance
proper
and
documentation and
proper,
well, yeah.
we'll talk about the relevance and the significance of this religions to the kingdom.
Now
Thank you very much.
when you talk about relevance, I think it's in line with what I just told you. Initially, we were producing for the beautification of the palace. Eventually, went into history. If we had not documented this history by way of art, we won't know anything about the history of this kingdom. I don't know if you understand me. You won't know anything about the history of this kingdom. We were recording by art. We were not recording by camera or pen or whatever. We sit down, we see what we have to see, even if it's not inside the palace. Anything that happened here in this kingdom, we documented it. That's why you see that even with what they carted away, we have well over 5,000 pieces of our works that were carried out of this kingdom. And you can imagine for you to produce 5,000 pieces saying different stories about the kingdom. You can imagine how long such documentations have been. You understand me? When next you come, I'll show you some of the works that the inner stored. You understand? Some of the works that the inner stored. Because then, when we were instructed to produce these works, we produced two. We give the best to the palace, to the king, and we keep the other for you know uh, protection sake. But when that invasion came up, a lot of people ran away. The kingdom was in disarray. So we had to hide most of all this peace. We hid them till after everything. When we eventually came back, we had to begin to dig them out from where we kept them. So I will open the gallery for you with time when next you come, so that you can see most of these works. I will allow you do some recording so that you can see most of these works that were done. They have replicas of them out here in this uh, residence. You understand? So when you talk about significance, I think that's in line with what it is. The head is the monarch. There is no changing that. The Oba of Benin is the head of the broadcasters. Even Oba Esige at a time was instructed that we should teach him how this work was done. So I'm proud to say he was an artist too, because he learned it then. You understand? Here, then. So we taught him some part of the art, but as a king, he won't sit down amongst us and begin to do the same. No, but we taught him, and before now, we have a workshop. We had a workshop in the palace where we do most of these works too, because like I mentioned, long before now, what we are doing was under the watchful eyes of the king, and it was done in the palace. He provides the materials for us to produce this bronze. Because you know how it was then. The money wasn't easy to get, you know. So as time went on, because the family was expounding, because it was expanding, the monarch had to grant us a royal charter by in 1280 AD by Oba Ogola. You understand? We had our royal charter 1280 AD. That was when we were able to. That was when we were permitted to produce these works and sell for ourselves to be able to fend for the family because of the growth. You understand? Like in this community you are now, where you are sitting now, every member of this community are all related. It's the only community where you have a complete family. That's why they call it Idingu. It's a community for bronze. You understand? As at some 100 years or less than, let me say, 1947, if you see the picture of this community, you won't believe that this is where you are standing today. There are no roads. These buildings are not there. There is more looking like a forest. Thatched some few thatched houses here and there. We only had these footpaths where maybe as time went on, we began to ride bicycle, and it was a path for bicycles too. You understand? So it's a funny thing, but because of development now, you now begin to see things. This structure, this building you see here is made of earth, normal earth, not block. You understand me? And you can imagine how many years this building has been in existence.
Can you still remember when this building was?
How can I remember? Was I born? My father, my grandfather was not born then. So how would I tell you how many years it's been? But I know it's pretty old because all we did was just some few renovations, but we're not allowed to change to alter the face value of the building. But it is made with earth of maybe about 2 feet thick earth. You understand? So nothing was done in block here. So you can imagine what it's like when you want to build a house. Then the whole community comes together. They will go help you dig the earth. The ones mashing the earth to make sure it is malleable does that. Others does various activities to make sure the building stands. Then, and the roof was with this raffia roof, this bamboo thing. That was how these buildings were then, until not too long ago before they were renovated. You get it? So everything then and even till date are all physically done here in this community. The casting, the modeling, and everything is all on a physical basis. So when next you come, you'll be privileged to see how we cast, how we model, a lot of various activities on how we get to the end result of the bronze that you see at the shops. You understand me?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're
You
welcome.
made mention of about 5,000
Pieces of artifacts.
artifacts that were stolen.
Yes.
Sir, can you make mention of some of those artifacts, like the very important ones, the key ones?
All the works are important. We have various activities, ceremonies that happened in this kingdom. We documented them in plaques. We have various kings, how the Obaship was transformed from the Obiso era. We put them in various forms. How the king's regalia, how it was changed. We had to show it to let people know that this is how it was before, and this is how it is now till date. You understand? So we have various ways we were putting these works together. So there is no one that's more important than the other. The major one you say that is important are probably the Oba heads, because every Oba head you see that we produce happens to be the king of this kingdom. You understand? So those are even more. There cannot be anything more important than that piece. So every head of the Oba is the most important and most valued piece in the kingdom.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sir, so can you still remember the first artifact that was probably made?
Your questions are very dicey. How do I know the first artifact that was made? It's when you say the first artifact that was made, in a year you can produce maybe 10 of those artifacts. You know, then there was this trade. We buy, let me say the monarch buys Manila, the ones they use for slavery, from they exchange goods for those Manila. You know, no, they were using it to handcuff our slaves then. So we buy it from them as what we use in producing this brass and other brass chips that we can get then. You know,
Thank
so
you very much, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
you're
Thank you very
welcome.
much, sir.
Very much welcome.
Wow,